Welcome. All right, so this is the Storage Nerds weekly podcast, weekly webinar. I teach every single week, just so everybody knows. I want y'all to hop on, hang out with me every week if you're interested in learning how to invest in self-storage. I also own REI USA. REI USA is an online platform where you can learn how to invest in real estate. We don't really focus on storage, we focus on real estate investing. So for all the REI USA members here, thank you for coming and hanging out today with me. And this session you can find, it'll become a podcast on the Storage Nerds podcast. And also we'll be able to find it later on YouTube as well as a vlog. So, and then, so there's a lot going on. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew. Make sure that you check out stacyrossetti.com if you are interested in getting into the coaching program. The Storage Nerds is opening up May 1st. The doors only open up for 2 weeks every couple of months, so 3 times a year. So the first 2 weeks of May they're open, and then they will close again. And I will be taking strategy calls and talking to you about the coaching program. If you want to hear and ask questions about it, you have to get on the wait list. All right, and then we will notify you about that. I'm going to take a certain amount of students every session, so make sure that you be on the lookout for that. And then also, we have something that's really exciting to announce. As of May 1st, for all lifetime members of Storage Nerds, we are offering acquisitions, help with your acquisition. So we will help you find a facility to buy. So if you truly are interested in buying a facility, you can hire my acquisitions team. As of right now, it's 4, but we're looking to hire a few more people. And our job is going to be to help you find that first facility. A lot of people are just like, I really want to buy a facility, but I don't have time to get out there and look. And so that's what we do. You can hire my team and they can look for you. And that is offered to lifetime members of Storage Nerds. So just be on the lookout for that as well too. We're going to do some announcements over the next couple of weeks and really get that out there to everybody. I'm really excited. Okay. And then let's see what else. Let me see. All right, so for everybody else that's new, I'm Stacy Rossetti. I teach people how to invest in self-storage. We own storage as well too. We have 11 storage facilities in the Florida and Georgia area. We have 1 under contract right now, which we will be putting in our fund, which is called the Self-Storage Fund of America. So if you are the type of person that's like a passive investor and you're like, I just want to like lend my money out, put it somewhere, invest in self-storage, but I just don't, I don't want to do all the work, then you should check out the fund. I will be doing the pitch right after this session. So we will end this session promptly in 55 minutes. And then I will hop onto the pitch session, which you can go to stacyrossetti.com/fund. And you can listen to me about the fund. I'm going to go over everything and all the terms and kind of how it works and the offering and this kind of stuff. Okay. All right, good. So Armand, I am going to promote you to panelist. So you should be getting like a pop-up that says that you can be promoted to panelist. Good, awesome. All right, good. So Armand is here. Welcome, Armand. And how are you doing? Can you turn your video on?
It's not allowing me to do it.
Oh, okay, let me figure out how to do that. Sorry, that's probably something you have to do too. I'm not sure how to do that. Make host, change role to attendee, chat. Ariel, do you know how to do that? To allow him to turn his video on?
No, I don't have host.
I don't have host. I don't have, it's not allowing me to do it either, Amon. So I don't know why, but.
Not a problem.
Yeah, we'll just do you have like a visual that you could put up?
Let me see. I don't know how to
share your screen. Yeah, if you share your screen, then that would be good.
Okay, let me see if it's letting me do that.
Yeah.
Okay, it is allowing me to share my screen.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah, put like a visual up of your facility.
Okay, sure.
Like one of your facilities. I don't know. Are you going to go over both of them today?
Yes, I'd love to talk about both of them and kind of walk everyone through the deals and
Okay,
go into
cool, good.
detail. Absolutely.
Okay, so Armand, he'll introduce himself in a few minutes. He joined the coaching program like a little bit over a year ago now. So, and just introduce yourself and kind of let everybody know how you got into like the storage world, why, and and then like kind of your first, and you can go over your deals. How did you find them? How did you fund them? And how do you run them now?
Definitely. Hi everyone. My name is Arman, originally from India. I live in Miami now. I've been in the storage business for a little over 1 year. I decided to get in January. And I was a wholesaler before. I was buying and selling land, and I found Stacy actually on YouTube, and I was watching some of her videos, and I thought, this is exactly what I need. I need someone who I can run deals with and analyze deals. And, so I joined her program. And by June of last year, I bought my first facility. This is the very first one, Lufkin Climate Controlled Storage. It's located in Lufkin, Texas. I found this, it was listed on the market on Crexy. So Lufkin's a small town, maybe about 30,000 people. And this guy was a developer. He just built it to sell it. I think the reason they hadn't sold it is because he was asking a really high price. It was listed at 1.5 million. It didn't even have like it couldn't even take care of its own expenses. It was 30% full. So it was, barely covering expenses. And so I made an offer for 1 million, knowing that once it's leased up, it would be worth at least 1.6, 1.7. And so I bought it. He was charging at the time, and I'd love to go into the rental rates as well. He was charging at the time, so they just had the 10 by 16s, the 10 by 20s, and the large unit, the 684 square feet unit. So he was charging 120 a month for this one, 160. And this one I'm not too sure, maybe like 400 or 500. But basically, I bought it. There was a lot of demand in the area. I drove by, and all the other facilities were 100% full with the waiting list. And so by the time we closed in June, he was already, between the time we got under contract till the time we closed, the occupancy shot up from 30% to 60%. And then I gave rent increases to the guys with the 10 by 16s. I bumped up these guys to 160, these guys to 200. As occupancy continued to rise, I increased the rent to 185 a month for this guy and 225 a month here. And that was just for new tenants. I don't want to raise rents on existing tenants more than once every 6 months. But yeah, basically I took this facility from a point where it was making $6,000 a month to making over 12,000 a month, and the occupancy was over 80%. And at that point in December, I refinanced the loan because I had to get a hard money loan to be able to close on it. I did a refinance where I, paid off the existing lender. My interest rate went from 9% to less than 4.5%. And the lender paid $300,000 towards expanding. And that's kind of why you see those additional units that I have in there. I decided to add in 5x5s, 5x10s, 10x10s, and 10x30s, just to have a diverse unit mix. So these are, the construction should be completed in June. With materials taking so long right now and all the shortages going on in the economy, it took 4 months just to get the building. And then it's going to take the general contractor maybe another month or two to actually install it. So we're adding in 51 more units. So we'll go from 78 to, I think, about 135 or something like that, or whatever that comes up to. And
Hey,
so
real fast, Armand. So just like in terms of like finding this, I just want to know how many different facilities did you have to look at before you found this one, and like kind of what were some of your strategies in finding them?
definitely. So I had to look at a lot of different deals. I probably, took a serious look at about 30 deals. And actually, I probably looked at maybe 50 to 100, and I made offers on 30 of them. And of those 30, I had 4 offers accepted, and from those 4, I ended up actually going through due diligence and closing on 2 of them. And those are the 2 facilities that I own right now. So I had to play a numbers game there. Definitely, with all this competition. And yeah, that's how I was able to find
In
them.
terms of so when you got it under contract,
Yeah.
so what, with the financing, I know can you talk a little bit about all the different ways that you tried to finance it, and then how you ended up why did you end up using a hard money lender?
It was my first time kind of going through this process, and so I had Stacy who was, willing to help me. And the hard money lender, basically, if you go with SBA loan or a conventional lender, they're gonna want to see financials. They want to know that you've owned at least, one facility before in like some cases. And so given that it's my first time, it's a loss-making facility. It was just gonna be hard to find someone to get that deal done. And so a hard money lender was kind of the only option, the only and probably the best option there. And so it was a loan of 800,000. So they went up to 80% loan to value, interest only, and no prepayment penalty for the first 6 months. So I had a facility that was doing $6,000 a month in revenue, and my loan payment itself was $6,000. And so all the expenses I kind of had to pay out of pocket in the initial phase.
Yeah. So so the loan was 6,000. You were making 6,000. How
Correct.
long did it take you? And kind of tell everybody the process of when you took it from it was complete. Essentially, it was completely empty, right? It was a brand new facility that was just completely empty, and you had to lease it up. And how
Correct.
did that process work?
So, I mean, luckily the owner already had easy storage solutions set up. So that kind of made my job easy. So I just, ran it as it was. I added in, the owner had all the phone calls going directly to him or his wife. And so I implemented 1 second, how do I change this? I implemented a call center in place. So as you can see here, this number, it's a call center with Easy Storage Solutions kind of offers this. So that helped me a lot since I'm not very good at answering my phone and I didn't want any calls to be missed. So yeah, I had a call center in place, and that definitely helped me. The Google My Business page, I made sure this was totally filled out. I asked, customers to leave me with a review. I give tenants $10 off if they leave me a review, no matter whether it's a good or bad review. And so that definitely helped me. I added in more photos in here. And so yeah, all of those things definitely helped with my lease up. One of the main things I would say is I cold called the neighboring facilities, and I had conversations with the managers. As you can see, we have a AAA storage, Texas storage. This guy has been 100% full for a while. So I probably got at least 20 move-ins just from him, which was where a bulk of my leasing came from. I gave him $75 per move-in. And so I was just paying him kind of on the first of the month and mailing him a check for everyone that he sent my way.
So instead of using Sparefoot, you just decided to go and work with some of your competition and see if they could send you some leads.
Actually, I use Sparefoot as well. Sparefoot helped me out, but Sparefoot's expensive. So I didn't put a very high bid. I just put 1.75 times the monthly rent as my bid. So yeah, on a $200 move in, that was $350 going to Sparefoot.
Okay, we have a couple of questions. So let me ask, what's the current occupancy?
Current occupancy is a little bit over 80%. This is my unit mix. But I'm adding in, all these units as well, so that the software is going to show it as a little bit lower, showing it as 53%.
Yeah,
As you
that's what happens. That's what happens to us too. So,
yeah.
so are you putting those all in as new construction?
Yeah, all these units here, those are all new construction units. I'm adding in some 5x10s, and 10x30s that are going to be right across each other. And then down here, it's going to be some 5x5s, 5x10s, and 10x10s.
Cool. So how many units are you putting in? How much is it costing you? Just
This is
curious.
51 units. It's
Okay.
costing me a little bit over 300,000.
Well, that's not bad.
Not bad. It's not bad, and it should take up the value of this property to do 2.3 million. After
Whoa.
all that. Yeah,
Yeah. So you bought it for $1 million, and now you're going to spend 300,000 and get it to $2.3 million.
correct.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So actually, you'll make like $1 million on the deal.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, around. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay, Mark, we have more questions. Can you tell us more about your due diligence process?
So the due diligence process was calling up the competitors, figuring out what their rental rates are and how much I can push mine. That's the very first thing I look at. I fill out Stacy's deal analyzer, and I'm just looking at what the potential rent can be. The other thing is, usually you want to get appraisals done. You want to get a phase one. I got a feasibility study in this for this deal, so that was expensive. I audited with Self Storage 101. That was about 6 to 7 grand, but that told me, what the future valuation could be and whether it makes sense to buy it and add more units. So that was very helpful. And yeah, that was the main part of my due diligence process.
Yeah, I mean, it was a new facility, so there really wasn't much to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and then following up on my last question, what documents do you request from the owner?
Documents, I really had nothing from him. Because it was kind of a newer facility and it didn't have much income history. I mean, I can check my folder and see. You guys can see my screen, right?
We see just your map is what we see.
Oh, you just see the map. Okay, let me. Um, okay, basically, I just had.
See, he has a Google Drive folder with everything in it that he needs, right?
Yes, I have a draft folder.
That's such a good student.
Yeah. So I'm just looking right now through it. I think it was just my you know, yeah, he really didn't give me that much. The only thing I got from him was a survey, really. And
Yeah. Yeah, see, when I was talking to Armand about this deal, I was just like, there's no bank that's going to finance this. I was like, why don't you just let like one of my lenders lend you the money? So I just introduced them to one of my lenders, and they are like, they're hard. It was a hard money loan. But if you don't know what hard money means, it just means that they'll give it at a higher interest rate and for a shorter amount of term. So I think they did like a year or 18 months.
24 months.
Oh, really? 24 months. But how fast did it take you to refi out?
It's within 6 months I refied out.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, and yeah, so and that was what he was worried about. I remember when we were talking to you, and he was just like, I'm gonna break even. I'm gonna have to come out of pocket. And I said, yes, you are gonna have to come out of pocket on this. But essentially in 6 months, you're gonna be able, like, you were able to refi that out. So how was that? How was that process? Were you excited about? Plus, you got an extra 300 grand, you said, right?
yes, I did. I mean the refinance process, I just did it with a local bank and it took, a good, I want to say about 60 days to get that entire process taken care of. But no, it was great. They obviously wanted an appraisal and I just provided them all the documents I had from before. But it was an expensive process. I think at the time of closing, I had to come up with $40,000 just to refinance the loan.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, ooh, that's the hard part about
There's a lot of fees they added, and then the property
who
tax.
ended up refinancing it for you?
It was Dallas Capital Bank.
Okay. Okay. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like a bigger one or anything.
No, it wasn't a bigger one, and so
That's cool. All right, good. Well, so tell us, how are you managing this facility?
managing. I have a local boots in the ground, so the general contractor who's doing the expansion for me, it's his wife who's helping me manage it. So I pay her right now $200 a month, um, which comes up to maybe about 25 an hour, with the amount of hours that she's putting in, just to help manage it. So she does the mowing, any maintenance work that needs to get done. If someone needs to be hired, like, setting up the security cameras, she takes care of that process. She helps overlock tenants, clean out vacant units. If I need to auction a unit, she'll click photos and send it to me. And she's helping me with my boots on the ground. And then I have the call center. So between those two, most of the work gets done. I do get emails every week from the call center if they have questions about billing and, hey, should we refund this tenant? This person called in, they're moving out early. Can we, prorate their rent? And, the call center will have questions for me, but, um, you know,
How much time are you like working on this property? Like how much time are you spending a week?
1 hour a week, I would say, is probably about average.
Yeah, 1 hour a week. That's awesome, honestly. And so remember, he lives in Miami, so and he's managing this facility in Texas. So totally doable, like I said, to be anywhere and be able to manage it. Okay, I have a couple more questions. Was there a specific technique you used to find your first facility?
I was playing the numbers game, so I went on Crexy, and there's a bunch of sites you can go on. There's LoopNet and some self-storage sites, and I was just making a ton of offers. So I was just making lowball offers at 10 plus pro forma cap rates, and I that's how I was able to find these deals.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. I was just talking to somebody earlier that's in the coach program, and he's put in 30 offers in the last like 3 months, and he's got nothing under contract. So, I mean, it really honestly is a numbers game. If you're not putting in offers, you're never going to get a deal. Okay, when did you order 6 to 7K due diligence from Self Storage 101?
That's as soon as I got it on the contract, I started spending money, getting all these reports, obviously I ran the numbers. I made sure that at, 90% occupancy, that it would make the kind of return that I wanted it to, and it would get to that 10 cap. And then once I ran the numbers, then I'm like, okay, this deal makes sense. I want to move forward at that point. Feasibility study, the phase one, which was like $1,500. I started ordering all of these different reports.
How did you pay for all those out-of-pocket expenses?
I use my own funds, so I had savings from my land wholesaling business, and so I use that towards the down payment and all the due diligence reports.
Did you see before you made an offer, after an offer, and how often do you go? Oh yeah, do you go to the facility?
I did not see it when I made an offer. I made like something like 30 offers, so I definitely wasn't able to see every one of them. And I don't recommend it unless, once you have it under contract and you've put up your earnest money at that point, I recommend taking a flight out, seeing it in person. And once, because there's just something about your instinct, and if you get a good feeling when you drive by the area and you look at that property and you get a good feeling, then at that point, you can start moving forward, ordering all the reports.
What if you don't have funds to close the refinance loan?
Then you can't refinance, I guess. Then
You could get somebody to loan you, partner, and get somebody to loan you the money.
Yeah.
Just tell the bank, like, this person's going to give me the 40,000 and they're going to get like whatever 5%. I mean, if they do, banks basically have a number, like if it's over this much percentage in equity, then you have to personally guarantee it, but they'll have this kind of threshold. And I've done many deals with like students and stuff where I have like 5% equity, and I've never had a personal guarantee. So like, give them a cut in the deal. Say, look, I need your $40 and you can get 5% or 10% or something, like 40,000, I'm talking about. Do that if you can't come up with the money.
Or the other solution is, if you get an SBA 7A loan, they'll just roll in the closing costs into the loan amount. So instead of the loan going up from 800,000 to 1.1 million, it would go from 800,000 to 1.13, and it would just get rolled into the loan.
That's good. Yeah. Or ask the bank if they can just roll that money in. That's a good idea. How much was your down payment and earnest money?
Down payment was 200,000. The earnest money was 50,000. And I think I had like a 30-day due diligence. So if I terminated within the 30-day due diligence, then I get that money back. One other question, sorry, I forgot to answer it, is how often do I go to the facility? Every 2 to 3 months usually. I'm flying to Dallas to see family, or I have some events there, and then it's a 3-hour drive from there. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's the increase percentage of the units going up?
The increased percentage, I don't do it by percentage as much as I look at a dollar amount. So, when I initially bought it, you can just do the math from 160 a month to 200 a month. that must have been a pretty steep increase. I think what is that, like 25% or something like that. But now, from 200 a month to 225 a month, that's just a little bit over 10% increase. So, really just depends.
Go back to your page where you have the what you charge the rents on too.
Yeah,
You gotta
here.
remember, Texas is expensive. Rents are expensive in Texas.
Yeah.
So it really depends on where you're at, because like I said, 10 by 10s are $150. That's
Yeah.
crazy. In Georgia, they're like $80.
Yeah, but these are climate controlled, so climate
Oh, good.
controlled always has higher rents than the
Okay, I
non.
didn't know those were climate. Sorry. Yeah, I should have looked.
And I price these on a price per square foot basis. So as the unit size gets bigger and bigger, the price per square foot goes down. And so, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
how I did it. I mean, where I live in Miami, a 10 by 10 non-climate control goes for $310 a month. So that's
Crazy.
like yeah, double the rent and not even climate.
Is the whole thing climate controlled for you?
The entire property is all climate
Okay.
controlled. So
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I feel like, yeah, because Lufkin, okay, so now I see, because Lufkin is like a little tiny city in the middle of Texas.
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Small
So that's
town
why.
and
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool. Good. Okay. Tell us about your other one, or something else. Do you have anything else you want to show us? You can
Yeah,
show
the
us.
other thing I was gonna show is this is how I do the rent increases. So, I can just say, hey, rent updated at least 3 months ago for the 10 by 20, increase the amount by $25 and do like a 30-day notice. So all these tenants in the last 3 months have not received the rent increase. So if, let's say, every 3 months I wanted to bump people up, I could, do it this way and just send them an email and a text, and it would automatically just go out. All these people would get rent increases.
So that's revenue management, basically.
Revenue management. Yeah, this is how you can bump people up.
Yes.
Yeah,
But that's good to know that. That's good to know you can do that in ESS too. So he's using ESS.
Yep.
Is what he's using. So now, can you do in ESS? Can you do dynamic pricing?
Dynamic pricing.
Yeah.
You cannot. It's static pricing. If I understand correctly, what you mean by that is each unit has a different price, right? Like this unit will be 225, this will be 200.
Well, it's based on your occupancy. So let's just say you have 80% is 150 10 by 10s. And then when you get to 90%, it goes to 170. And when you go to 5%, like only have 2 left or something, that's at 190. And your last couple of like units that you have should be like ridiculous prices.
Yeah, I mean, this is the pricing section, and you just have to put in the total number of units and the price. I don't think it allows me to do the dynamic pricing model. It
I
just
would
has.
definitely consider, like, if you do have just a couple left, those prices should be like a lot higher than what like the other prices are.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, cool, good, awesome. Okay, I love it. So can you do, oh wait, I'm sorry, what pricing does ESS versus storage? So I use storage. It's about the same price, honestly. Now it's costing us it costs probably around $300 a month for storage. That's with the website and the back office. You don't have to use the website. You can build your own website, which is what we do. And actually, this is something, Armand, that you should consider as well too, like hiring guy to just build your website for you, and then that way you just have you never have that. Because how much do you pay for ESS?
I pay, like, these are all my expenses. ESS is about $81 a month for the software, and then 234 a month for the call center.
Oh, so you don't pay for the website?
No, I think a website's included. So.
Oh, okay. So you must
to.
have I think you must have the older pricing then.
They just gave me a rate increase. I think it was like 60 a month before. So
Yeah.
the software itself is really cheap, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have the older price. It's not that price anymore. Like for newbies coming in, I think it's like way more expensive. I think it's like way more. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure actually, because like I've had a couple of people like compare prices, and they're saying it's like over $200 or something.
Wow.
That's how we are too, because with storage, we have like, we're grandfathered into the very like beginning prices. We pay $75 a month is what we pay. So so we're like you, but like now they're just like the prices are ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And then
But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is that, like, I don't know if you're going to add more units or not, I mean, add more facilities or not. But what we do is we have like a marketing coach inside Storage Nurse. His name's Guy. He creates a website for you, and then you just have the one website, and then you have no other charges except for just your property management software.
I see.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
cool. All right. Okay, so what else? Do you want to do your other one? Or do you have anything else to talk about?
We can probably switch to the other one. Let me share my screen
Okay.
again.
Tell us how you found this one. Actually, we have one more question. We have one more question. How did you find the people who are helping you manage the facility in Lovekin?
So it was my general contractor's wife. I just asked my GC
Yeah.
because he's local to Lufkin, and he recommended his wife, and she's been a pleasure to work with. Before that, I was using someone I found on Indeed.com. I just put up a job posting for self-storage manager, 25 an hour, and I got quite a few people interested in that. And that's how I found them. The next property is, do we have any more questions, or should I jump into
No,
that?
you can go to the next one. Yeah.
Okay, this is Lifetime Climate Control Storage. It's in Iowa Park, Texas. It's a small little town here, close to Wichita Falls. Wichita Falls is a much bigger city. I think they have about 100,000 people there. Iowa Park is like 6,000 people. So obviously you're not going to get as many move-ins or move-outs as, Lufkin, but this is 57 units, 50 storage, and then I have 7 shops here. So it's nice. I get income from the retail as well as the storage. The tenants have been there an average of, over 20 years. And so we have a donut shop, we have a gym, we have nail salon, jewelry store, and it's right across the Pizza Hut, which is also good. There's, like, a lot of commercial tenants here. We got bank, gas station. And this facility, I found it on Crexy. I bought this at a little bit over 8% cap rate, which was pretty good, I would say. It was previously a Dollar General. The previous owner bought it and converted all of this to climate control self-storage, 50 units in here, and then we have the retail, shops there. And yeah, I bought this for 681,000. Gave huge rent increases to people, bumped up the revenue, and now I'm in the process of adding in 38 additional units in the back area right here, which is costing me 35,000. Janice International is taking care of that project for me, and yeah, the goal is to sell this one and then trade up into something bigger.
And so for this is interesting because we actually have one under contract that's like, it's like storage plus commercial plus like an apartment. So this is interesting to me. So when you increase the rent, because these people that I'm buying this building from too, these buildings from, they've been there forever and like have not gotten a rent increase in years. Like what happened when you increased all the rents? Were they like all pissed or what?
Yeah, I mean, so I got quite a few messages from people, even though I only had 50 tenants, but I had a waiting list. So I'm like, this warrants a rent increase. I had a lot of move outs. My occupancy dropped from 100% with a waiting list to 78%. So huge drop in occupancy. But overall, I was still making more money because the rent increases were much more than 22%. They were more like 60, 70% rent increases for some of these tenants. And I didn't do it gradually. I just bumped up everybody in one shot to the market rent. So I had a lot of move outs, but eventually, those units started to fill up, and now we have 6 units vacant. So that should get us to 86% occupancy. But given that it's a small town, the lease up process is always slower. And these are all like similar size units. They're all medium size, 10 by 10s, 10 by 12s, and we have one 10 by 11. I've noticed there's more demand for the smaller units and the very large ones. And so I think that's also part of the problem. So that's why, here we're adding in about 38 units, which are all small units.
That's interesting. Yeah. So what size are your smaller units?
They are 5 by 10s, 5 by 5s,
Whoa, that's
5 by
crazy.
7s, 4 by 4. So we got a little bit of a mix here,
Is
but
that
right
like the back of the building, like inside it?
Yeah, yeah, it's just an unused office area. It's like, so we're adding in about 1,100 square feet of storage.
And you increased all the rents on the retail space too, right?
Retail space, no, because I'm locked in by a lease.
Oh, okay.
But there were some small increases there, and yeah, I mean, I'm getting about $4 to $5 per square foot per year on the retail.
How long are the leases locked in for?
Those about, a couple of years, anywhere from
Okay.
1 to 2 years. And
Okay.
so I had a bunch of people, the renewal rates were coming up at the same time. So some people had the option to renew, so they exercised that option. So it was a predetermined rate increase from like 650 a month to 680 a month. And then other people, we had to sign a new lease. So one of the guys, he was just paying me way too low. He was paying 275 a month, and we negotiated a rate because he was running a very small business there and he couldn't afford to pay a whole lot. So I bumped him up to 375 a month. Um, and even though that unit should be more like at least 500 a month, I would say,
Mhm.
just to kind of be nice to him and keep it
Yeah.
full, because finding tenants on retail is not as easy as it is for storage.
Talk about the owner transfer process when you buy. We didn't talk about the other one. When you buy them, it's like this. How does that work? What did you do and how did you transfer everything?
So he had a different name. It was ADG Climate Control Storage. So I had to take over the Google My Business account. I had to put in lifetime. So the good part about that is the reviews from 2 years ago, I still had the 5-star reviews. I didn't have to start over there. I put in a call center like I did with Lost Facility. He didn't have easy storage solutions, so I had to, basically build the entire. I had to add in the unit mixes. I had to do all of that myself. The website, I told ESS just make it like my Lufkin facility. So they did that. I implemented the call center like I have there. Um, and yeah, that was kind of it. I added this line here, because I don't have admin or move-in fees or anything like that. And yeah, that was part of my process, all of that.
Okay. Oh, so do you have no security deposit, no admin fees?
Yeah, I don't charge. I know some facilities have like a $29 admin fee or something to collect additional revenue and move in. I just wanted to be upfront with my tenants and say, hey, you're just responsible for rent, nothing more, nothing less. There's no sales tax, there's none of that in Texas. So
Well, that's good. How's that going? Are you having a lot of people like leave a whole bunch of stuff or
leaving a bunch of stuff.
yeah, like when they move out?
When they move out, no, I mean, every tenant keeps it pretty clean, I would say, in the move
Mhm.
out process. And I have my boots on the ground going and inspect it. For this facility, I have two boots on the ground people that are local. I pay them each $100 a month. One guy helps with the mowing and landscaping and helping the retail tenants if they need anything repaired. He's more of a hands-on kind of guy. The other person just manages the self-storage and helps with overlocking and cleaning out vacant units. And so they both have different roles and they're both friends. And
How did you find them?
I just kept them. The previous owner was
Oh,
using them, so just kept both of them on.
okay, and they're working out good.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Somebody's asking, are your retail spaces triple in leases?
No, it is not triple net, because in triple net, this is my understanding that they would be paying the insurance and property taxes. As the landlord, I'm still responsible for that. But what they are paying for, what I'm providing the they're paying their own electric bill, so it's a gross lease. And I'm responsible for the property taxes and insurance and the HVAC. Um,
This is like, so basically this is the list of the expenses of
yes,
what it's gonna cost. This is it, right? So
this
there's
is
not
what
a
it
lot of
costs around
expenses.
this. So this is let's see what this adds up to. 80,000 a year, including the debt payment. But that, it's not part of your NOI, since that goes towards the principal and the interest. But everything else would be part of the operational expenses of running this facility.
How did you get this funded? I was gonna ask you, how much was it making when you purchased it?
It was an 8 cap, so I want to say about 8 grand a month or something like that
Okay.
when I bought it, and now it was a little bit over 10 grand a month. But I had to evict the donut shop because he wasn't paying rent for the last 3-4 months, and so now it's down to 9,200 a month. But we're renting that space out for 800 a month. We have, some people interested, so it'll bump up the income to a little bit over 10 grand. And then if we lease up the vacant units, that should hopefully get it higher, as well as adding in those 38 units at the back. So I'm hoping it'll be worth, it should generate about 12 grand a month after everything is said and done.
Would you say the retail space takes up a lot? I mean, the retail space takes a lot of time, or is that pretty easy to manage as well?
It's very easy to manage. I mean, they're set up on some of them do like a recurring direct deposit into my bank account. Some people mail me a check. Some people were doing PayPal, Zelle. So I'm getting money from all different ways. But no, it's pretty easy to manage. The tenants take very good care of the space. As I said, they've been there average 20 years. So
Cool.
yeah.
Okay, so now you bought it for, what was it, 660?
681,000.
Yeah, okay.
And
How did you get it funded?
I used my own money, so 20% that I saved up from my wholesaling business. I bought this in August of last year. And we
Cool.
actually have it up for sale now, this facility. Put it up for sale for 1.5.
Oh, cool. And so, okay. Well, that's cool. So now why are you getting rid of this one?
So I can use the funds and trade up into something bigger. That's kind of the objective now. The
Mhm.
land wholesaling business has been rough for the last few months. It's just been hard to move property. And so yeah, I'm hoping I can sell this and use this as a down payment and maybe go buy a 5 million or $6 million deal and scale up kind of that way.
You're already up by your third one. You're already up to a $5 million deal.
Yeah, that's kind of the objective there.
Did you, we have some questions. Did you know you have a room to expand before you purchased? And if so, how did you verify with the city?
So I mean, because it's such a small town and I already had the structure in place and I wasn't adding in more physical square footage to the building, they're like, you can do whatever you want. So that was really not even a process there. I just hired Janice to take care of that expansion. And for those of you who don't know, Janice is a very big company in self-storage. They do doors and smart locks, and they're at all the trade shows in Vegas and all the self-storage conferences.
So did you quote out a whole bunch of different companies to do your new construction? And
No, I mean, I just gave the bid to Janice and I just wanted them to bid on it, and 35 grand seemed reasonable for 38 units. It was about 1,100 square feet. So that's
that
about
seems like
35.
really reasonable, honestly.
Yeah, very reasonable. So yeah, I didn't really feel the need to bid it out. I was
And you don't
comfortable.
really have any other expenses because you already have the building there. So
Yeah, already
Yeah.
have the building. Yeah, it was just some area on the back that was unused. In fact, I hadn't even gone back there. It's funny. I just thought it was the 50 units and that's it. But when I closed on it, I flew there for the second time and then I just went back in the manager like area where I just thought it was like he had like a small office there or desk, or I didn't even know what was going on there. And I just saw, oh, he has like an extra 1,000 square feet that can be used. So decided to use that for the expansion.
cool. So, okay, good. Then we have some more questions to be asked before I keep going on. Are you requiring tenant protection insurance?
I do not require it, but I offer it as an add-on. So if someone wants to buy it, they can do it directly from our website. And I use a company called Safely since they let me keep 75% of the revenue. If you use Easy Storage Solutions tenant protection, then you only keep 30%. So that's both up right there. Yeah.
How much do you net? So how much do you net a month on this one?
On this one, right now with that eviction, it's brought me down to 9,200 a month. So in a year, that is 110, and then I have 80,000 in terms of the expenses. So I'm making about 30 grand a year, but also this includes the debt payment, which should not be part of your NOI. So if you kind of, yeah, so the NOI on this is obviously much higher.
Yeah. What kind of a loan did you get?
This was with a local lender, once again in Dallas. It's a bank called Spectra Bank. They only have like 200 million in assets, so like very small bank. And yeah, they just lent me the 80% loan to value on this deal at 4.5%.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Are you going to do 1031 exchange or will you sell and pay capital gains before buying?
So I did something really interesting with both my facilities is I did not like I'm not planning on doing 1031 because you need to own a property at least 2 years. I did something called a cost segregation analysis. So all real estate is made up of land and improvements. So the improvement value you can just appreciate 100%. So I took on Lufkin, I bought it for 1 million. 100,000 was the land value. 900,000 was the physical structure. So we just took a $900,000 loss in my tax return for Lufkin. And for this one, it was like a $550,000 loss that we showed year one. So basically, that helps me not pay any money to the IRS when I buy these facilities, and it offsets all my regular income that I make from the land business, as well as those losses then get carried forward to future years. When you sell, eventually you get hit with a massive like I'll lose 60-70% in the proceeds to the IRS unless before the end of 2022, if I reinvest it into another deal and I do another cost, like if I buy a 5 million or $4 million deal and I take $3 million loss year one, then I offset all the capital gains and the recapture taxes on the depreciation. Everything gets offset. So again, I'll have a loss. So that's kind of the goal, just to buy something bigger and never have to do a 1031 exchange.
Cool. All right. So you're doing the cost seg up front is what you're doing.
Yeah.
I like it. When are you looking for off-market deals? Do you have a standard offer letter you send to owners?
Yeah, so I do send I have been sending letters to people. I got 2 self-storage facilities that I wholesaled. I've never bought a facility off market because I've never found something that really I liked a lot. I think it was still a good deal with good amount of upside, but not the kind that I want to be making on a deal. So yeah, I just send 1-page letter to owner, kind of introducing myself, and I'm actually happy to share it with the group. Let me just
Who is
pull it
your,
up.
and also somebody's asking, who's your accountant? I think that's,
My
is that HJ? Who was that? Oh,
my
no.
accountant, Jessica Green.
Is she good?
She's great. Yeah, she's based in Dallas and she does my bookkeeping and filing the tax return and all of that stuff.
Who do
So
you use for cost seg? What did
cost seg, engineered tax services. They're based in Florida. There's a lady there called Heidi. So she does it for me. I just met them at one of the trade shows in Vegas. And let
So,
me
so how did you come up with the idea to do the cost seg and then not do the 1031? Did you talk to your accountant about this or what?
Yeah, I mean, I was listening to podcasts, and I know like some self-storage investors who do cost seg, and so that's how it's
Yeah.
kind of how I got the idea to do it. And this is my template really. So I just have the LLC and then my info and my home address and dear property owner, I'm interested in buying. I wanted to know if you'd be willing to entertain an offer, and I just talk about my history and my experience. And then, I just encourage them to give me a call. And I've been getting a lot of phone calls by just mailing out this template to people.
And so, and then, so now you're wholesaling deals or what? You're looking for big, you're looking to sell this one and buy a bigger deal, and then you're also wholesaling.
Correct. Yes, I'm still wholesaling. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So how can like, just so if people want to get on your list, just in case you find a property, how can they get on like your list?
If they send me their name and email, I can add them to my list.
What is
Um,
your email? And I'll put it into the chat for everybody.
Wait, it's Arman K Premji at gmail.com.
Like this? Did I put it in right on the chat? Oh, sorry, I haven't put it. Armand K Premji at gmail.com. Okay.
Yes, that's it.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, good. I mean, all right. Well, congratulations on all your success. Really fast before you leave, talk a little bit of just about Storage Nerds and like how it helped you. I'd like everybody to kind of understand.
Definitely. Storage nodes was very helpful. I went through Stacy's modules and all the e-course training. And then, I had the weekly call with Stacy, and I wanted to finish the webinar, the training before I started talking to Stacy, but I would just ask her specific questions about how she was doing. She was running her deals and finding deals and all of that. And once I had this Lufkin deal, it was just very reassuring to have someone to run the deal with, someone with experience. And Stacy was, happy to do that for me. She looked at the deal, the price per square foot that I was paying, and she said it's a good deal. You should go for it. And so just having that community and being able to have a mentor and someone you can really ask questions to was very, very helpful. I would not have been able to be where I am today if it weren't for Stacy.
Good, cool, awesome. Thank you so much. Armand's email, I just posted it. So scroll up in the chat. It's in there somewhere. And awesome. So thank you guys for hanging out. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody so I can hop onto the fund. It's stacyrossetti.com/fund if you're interested in hearing the pitch. And thank you, Armand, for coming to hang out. I really appreciate it. Congratulations on all your success.
Appreciate it, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Take care.